His dad walked out on us when he was not even 2 years old. Started working my way up the corporate ladder, and I worked my way all the way up to executive vice president. At that point, I had been divorced very young and was in another relationship, was engaged to get married, and I was punished for every time I got a promotion. I was just a mess. I was so dysregulated. I had all of these symptoms that were happening in my body, and I didn't know how to process it. And there was a point in my life where I really realized I had to have the money to get out of the situation I was in. Otherwise, I possibly wasn't going to live. I had so much right in front of me and so much in front of my son that I said there will be nothing that will stop me from giving my son every opportunity he deserves. And I'm not going to depend on anybody to do that for us.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Crush and Climb. I'm your host, Jason McClain, and today I've got something that will make you jump up and down and say, hallelujah, the time has come, because my guest today is going to become your very best friend. What would life look like if you had a chance to spend an hour or so with a dynamic woman, an individual who doesn't just believe in herself, but everyone around her, who knows how to A, make some real money, B, make sure that no matter what happens, she fights for the cause and for her beliefs, and C, no matter what happens, she believes that every single day is a gift that keeps on giving. My friends, allow me to give you the one and the only, dun-da-da-da, Monica Kline.
Oh my gosh, that introduction was wow.
Does that
Thank
good?
you. That was so good. I need a copy of that. It's my new intro.
It's for you. It's free. It's copyright free. You don't got to pay for it. It's all yours.
I love it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here and have this conversation with you.
Thank you, my friend. Welcome to Crush and Climb.
Thank you.
And you know, the one thing we do on Crush and Climb, the most important thing is we start with wine to crush it.
Yes, please.
So listen, I've got a wine for you, and I picked this one out just for you because as I heard your story and I thought about the world we're going to unveil today and unroll, I realized that it's like being on cloud nine, that one moment in time where you feel everything is just bliss. And you know, whether it's signing that deal, making that program work, or finding that great love in your life, or something that makes you feel good because you're feeling good about today. Your health is good. You can get up in the morning. There's no more pain. So Cloud Nine's what I picked out for you today. It's 100% Chardonnay. And I'm going to tell you something about this wine. This wine will make your liver quiver and your shimmy, shimmy cocoa pop. And this is one of those wines that is like the nectar of the gods. Now, we made the wine. It's aged in neutral oak barrels and stainless steel. And this one is like, I mean, it's delightful. So let's take a little sip and cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
And let's enjoy a moment and just, oh, the nectars. I'm picking up lots of apricots, a soft hint of a nice melon. Little honeydews on that one. Oh yeah, it's yum, 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 yum.
I'm picking up it needs to be in my mouth.
Even better. Let's go, girl.
Oh my gosh.
Is that good?
It's so crisp.
Yes.
Very, very soft.
There you go.
Delicious.
You see?
Delicious.
Now we're friends already. This is what we do. What would life look like if you actually sat down and had a glass of wine with your friends? Oh my gosh, this is a good thing.
That is really good. And I am definitely a white wine connoisseur. I love all wine.
I love it.
White wine is my thing lately.
Well, this Chardonnay Cloud 9 is fitting for a woman of your stature and your kind, beautiful, beautiful story. So
thank you.
I would love to open up today because there's a lot of thought that says, what is it that we're going to go into? And I want to start this thing out first and ask you, who is Monica Kline, and what's the one thing that you accomplished in your life that's hard for everyone else to try to accomplish? What's the one thing that you did that everyone else looks at and says, oh my God, I have no idea how I'm going to get through all that. How do I make it work? Who is Monica?
Longevity in business is one.
Okay.
Over almost 15 and a half years. Self-funded, self-started, self-driven, self-motivated. Did it all by myself with my brain and my two hands and built and built and built. So
all right.
There's something to be said about grit and tenacity. So I have all the makings of an entrepreneur since I was a little girl, and I didn't know it until I realized I can't build somebody else's dream.
Isn't that the case usually when it comes to just finding amazing humans? I have 3 daughters,
Okay.
right? And you know, they're 2 are off in college and one's, you know, finishing her high school world and my wife for 22 years. I look at today, my daughter Savannah, she's my second daughter. She is a private pilot and she's going to school. She got her flying at 15. At 16, she's soloed. At 17, she got her license. At 18, she's a licensed private pilot. And now she's at Florida Tech training to become a commercial pilot because it's amazing. Here is this beautiful woman. She has absolutely no idea what she's walking into because the truth is less than 2% of commercial pilots are women, and less than 1/4% of commercial pilots are captain. And if you're a woman of color, the number even goes down lower. So you're an entrepreneur, and women entrepreneurs, there's another doorway. There's not the thing that usually we get to see as we have these stories from all these guys who've done these things, but the women, what's going on? What's the difference?
I feel I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm 55, and I grew up in a time where being a woman of color wasn't cool. And so I was groomed to do the obvious, look good and get married and have kids. And I did try it several times, just didn't work for me. But my dad instilled in me education, and you can do and become anything that you want. And when I learned that, the sky's not even the limit. Like, there was no limits on me. And I decided it was my duty to get that God-given gift and bring it out into the world. And when you don't live your God-given gift, you end up with resentment or not being fulfilled or not knowing how to maneuver through life, because entrepreneurship, what it trains you for is all the hard things in life. Without it, we stumble, we stay stuck. We don't know what to do. And the worst thing to do in this lifetime is stay stagnant. For me, stagnant is we're telling God, we're not going to honor your wish upon our life. And we're telling our loved ones and our friends and people that look up to us that we can't do it, so maybe you can't do it either.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing is I want to encourage. I'm very deeply passionate about encouraging everybody, but I work primarily with women.
Yes.
And so I just take them under my wing and I guide them and show them step by step how, because that's what's missing.
So give that to me. Give me the steps. Let's talk about how to take a beautiful, amazing young woman, middle-aged woman. The age is not important, but you're a girl. You're a wonderful lady. You're a beautiful woman. What do you say to these individuals, these beautiful people who want to take on that mantle, to become that entrepreneur, to find their way to climb up that mountain? What are the top things you say to someone?
First, it starts with your mindset. And 2, it starts with your relationship with money. Most unfortunately, the statistics of women and their confidence around decision-making skills around their money is horrific. They don't know how to manage money, how to make money, how to save money, how to invest money. And they depend on somebody, a father, a husband, anyone, a man in their life. And I'm not a feminist by any means. I love men. And I feel there is a role for men and a role for women. But as a woman who has been divorced, I need to stand on my own 2 feet and make my own money and know what I'm doing with it. And so I made it my job to learn how, and then I teach others how to do it. Whether I work with widows and they didn't sign up to lose their loved one, their partner, their spouse, and I'm teaching them how to build the business, what to do with their money, how to invest it. Now, this is all in entrepreneurship, but there are so many women. I mentor young girls on what to do so you can do everything that you want, because the last thing I want to see is somebody not live their dream and just be codependent on somebody, because that's where problems start to come in. And I had my fair share of heartbreak, and there was one moment where my tagline for my business is money solves problems. And there was a point in my life where I really realized I had to have the money to get out of the situation I was in. Otherwise, I possibly wasn't going to live. And when I discovered that I needed to go into hiding, I needed money to go into hiding. I needed to shut down my outside life so I couldn't be found. And the only thing that could help me was money to go and do that too, and to heal as well. So money is good for a lot of things, but I think women kind of play the somebody else will take care of that for me.
Yeah. And
nobody's coming to rescue you. That's what I tell them. There are amazing men in this world that will, but I still want to see women be very strong and independent.
Tell me your story. Who's Monica? Tell me your story. Give me the version. I want to just know you. I mean, you have a drive and a power and a strength that
Yeah.
it comes across the room. It shines on the table. The glass of wine is stupid good. But
So good.
when I think of you and your story and hearing how you want to
Mm,
empower these amazing women, not many people take that mantle on. So there's got to be
yeah.
something in your past,
Mm,
something in your life, something
mm,
that was not great or something that was
yeah.
great that made you the woman you are today.
I grew up with great role models. My parents were together until death do you part,
Mm.
and they were married a little over, I can't remember now, it's like over 50 years, and they really honored the vow. And unfortunately, I wanted to honor that vow. And my first marriage, I gave birth to my amazing son, who is now, my son is, he's in his mid 30s,
Good for you.
and he is very excited and passionate about what he does. And I raised him as an only child, or he was an only child as a single mom.
Yeah.
And I'm also was raised as an only child. So there was something there that we just, our energy, like I felt like he was there to protect me. And I think being a single mom really instilled this drive and passion where nobody was coming to save me. His dad walked out on us when he was not even 2 years old. No explanation. And so I went into overdrive, finished my college education, started working my way up the corporate ladder, and I worked my way all the way up to executive vice president. At that point, I had been divorced very young and was in another relationship, was engaged to get married, and I was punished for every time I got a promotion. But as a single mom, I had no choice. So exited that right before the wedding and took on a huge promotion, traveled the world extensively, and traveling the world opens your eyes to what other cultures live like.
Yes, it
And
does.
I said, I am so privileged. I have so much in front of me. Right, growing up in Newport Beach, I'm like a little privileged, right? But I had so much right in front of me and so much in front of my son that I said, there will be nothing that will stop me from giving my son every opportunity he deserves. And I'm not going to depend on anybody to do that for us. And so my work, my passion, my drive was just there. The work ethic, like I would work like crazy hours. And then fast forward, I ended up finding somebody and I did get married. And that was probably, unfortunately, the biggest mistake of my life. He tried to take my life.
Mm.
And I came out of it, and I'm still here telling about it.
Wow.
I wrote a book about it. And today, I will say I am probably 95% healed from all of the trauma that I've gone through. And my goal is when you regulate your nervous system, especially all people, but especially as a woman, because we're much more emotional beings. And if you're regulated, you can accomplish anything. But how do you regulate your nervous system? How do you take care of your health? Because most times as women, we're taking care of everybody around us. And so I literally drew a line in the sand and I said, it's time to take care of me. Monica comes number one. If I'm not taking care of myself, my business won't thrive, my health won't thrive, my client list, my team, my son, everything factors in on that. So I believe God gives me lessons. I call them God moments. And God took me seriously. Be careful what you ask for. And at that time, I was getting divorced. My mom lost her battle with cancer. And then 2020 hit.
I'm sorry.
And 2020, I was a little lost with all the jargon that they put into our heads.
Yeah.
I was living in the heart of New York City, so we were the epicenter.
Of
So
course.
it was brutal.
Of course.
And I also lived on the same street as Trump Tower, where the Trump family lived. So it was during the presidency.
Yeah.
And I walked out and I would have full-blown panic attacks. So I lost a little bit of myself during a season, but it was for a reason. I truly believe it was for a reason. I would walk out to in front of I lived in a boutique building across the street from Trump Tower. And I walked out to bomb squad trucks 24/7 through the whole presidency.
Wow.
And I also walked out to CIA, FBI, you name it. Our street was shut. We couldn't even take the subway on our street because that's just all the things they put into
Of course.
the protocol
Yeah.
to protect the family, which fair enough, but it caused massive anxiety. So then we have 2020 that happens. And I was just a mess. I was so dysregulated. I had all of these symptoms that were happening in my body and I didn't know how to process it. So I took a break and I came back to California to my roots. My dad was lost without my mom being gone for, together for that long.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to turn on the stove, how to wash laundry, how to grocery shop. He did not know how to do any of it. My mom took care of everything. So unfortunately, he went in and had gallbladder surgery, outpatient procedure, and the surgeon struck an artery that killed him. So
Oh, my
instead
God.
of living in California to be with my dad and create new memories, I'm now burying him.
Mm.
And I'm sitting in California with my life in New York, my business in New York. And I did what any normal person would do, wink. I dove into my business and became the biggest workaholic you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
I scaled my business 600% in 10 months.
Wow.
So the profit, pshoom, my body, pshoom.
Yeah.
It was a wake up call. And here I am, still drinking wine.
Yeah. Cheers to that one.
Cheers. Here I am. That's a short version of it.
Wow. Okay. So
There's a lot to unpack there.
that's a big that's a mountain.
It's a mountain.
We're climbing a mountain, but it's a you built some stripes. You built some calluses.
A lot.
Yeah, you built some it's funny. I love to say, how do you take your greatest failures and make them your greatest assets?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what yours are. What are your greatest failures that became your greatest asset?
Whew, this is my biggest mission in my life right now. My biggest failure was not knowing how to stop or say no. I said yes to literally everyone, everything. I was getting asked to speak on these big stages, and I said yes, even though I couldn't even get out of bed. I was so exhausted. I signed clients that at the time just added to the bottom line.
Yeah.
Were they an energetic match? Were they the right match? Did I offer what they needed? You know, having a full branding agency, we do everything from A to Z. And when I signed them, there was a gut, an intuition that said, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Instead, I ran straight for them. I collected the money and started executing. And this is how I grew so fast.
Yeah.
And I brought on a business partner at that point because I knew I couldn't do it by myself. And so I thought, oh, I'm doing this the right way. I'm being smart. I crashed and burned so hard that I ended up in the hospital with severe burnout, fatigue. And I'm quietly a tech person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a huge, anything with automation and technology and software, that's my jam. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so my business was still running and new clients were still coming in, but Monica's recovering. Yeah. I couldn't walk from my bed to the bathroom. That's how bad I was. I thought I had a disease. I thought I was dying. What was going on was grief and trauma that I never dealt with. I lost my parents. We went through 2020, and I also lost one of my best friends, tragically passed away as well, and then my son's best friend also passed away. And it was tragic. And as a single mom, and his dad's not in the picture, I held on to his grief. I saw the pain in him, and I said, let mom hold it. And I just held it, and I held everybody's grief. Yeah. And so my wake-up call where I'm at today was I went completely, if I do anything, I'm an extremist. If I'm going to build a business, I'm going to go all the way in and do everything possible. I'm going to hire the team and build the team and, have too many clients. I go on in the deep end. Yeah. And so I decided to go on the deep end in health, all naturopathic, holistic, and cleaned up my life and started eating clean, doing all the different modalities to really heal myself. And it started with a massive blood panel to see what was wrong with me. And thank goodness I was healthy, but my systems were off. Everything in my body was so dysregulated and starting to have early signs of things could go wrong. Sure. And I said, let's fix it. Okay. And I don't take any kind of pharmaceuticals. I'm 100% natural. So I found a team. And everybody's like, you're crazy. Why do you need a team? You're not sick. I said, that's the goal. Yeah. Never to be sick. Interesting. Pay now or pay later. Yeah. And so I still to this day have a team of about 7 between physicians and practitioners that I work with on every 2 weeks. Wow. Just to optimize my health. Because your health, if you're building a business and your health crashes, your business crashes. Your livelihood crashes. You have team members. You have clients, family. Yeah. You're throwing the pebble and you want to have the ripple effect, and you can't sustain. Doesn't matter if you have a team. Nobody knows it like you unless you have SOPs and a plan to delegate. So tell me this, and I want to go into, the process of making the health priority, but I have to ask a question that is burning my mind. I'm an entrepreneur. A lot of people who listen or watch this podcast, they're entrepreneurs or they're people who are striving forward for something. My question is, when you're in the midst of it,
and you're powering through. I mean, I power through every single day.
Yep.
How do you stop? How do you stop powering through and make time for your health? Because everyone says they want to do it.
Yeah.
Everyone says, I'm going to go back to, this, or I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to eat this, I'm going to start eating more greens, or they always say it. And it never creates the habit. Now, we know time and time again, and I won't even go into it. If you do these so many times, if you do that one, here's your results. You, in the midst of it, you have a deal coming, you've got a contract coming, you got a gig you're going to be speaking at, you got something going on. You are at that moment where you got to keep going. You can't stop. If the deadline does not exist because it's already behind you. So that means you're already behind trying to catch up. How do you stop? And how do you put focus on your health when you have no choice but to get it done, or tomorrow the mortgage doesn't get paid?
You look at the labs. They don't lie. You do the special testing. You look and see what's coming down the pike for you. And if you don't stop, you're going to get a diagnosis. You're going to burn out. You're going to get the C word dropped in an appointment. And that was enough for me. My mom died of cancer, and I watched her die a very slow, painful death. 7 years off and on. She had a couple years of remission. And then 3 of my aunts, my mom's sisters, all also passed away. And that was female type cancer. So when I say I'm an extremist, I did the unthinkable. I went and got a hysterectomy so I can eliminate the chances, because I'm an entrepreneur. I've got to manage all this.
Sure.
I'm still, taking care of a lot of people, not just financially, emotionally, and business. And so I did the unthinkable, got the hysterectomy, and then I go in and I did all the genetic testing. So epigenetics, cancer testing. I wanted to know, and I wanted to know now if they saw anything in my body and all the different scans. There's a million tests out there to do. I did probably 6 different tests and came back, and most people say, we're scared. We don't want to know. I'm like, wouldn't you be more scared to get the diagnosis instead? That scared me straight. And I said, if I don't make time now, it's pay now or pay later, and I needed to make time now to do it. So right now, my health is my number one. Not right now. It has been for years, and I've gone all in on that side. But I tell you, when I show up for business, I show up. I play full out, and I am maybe working 3.5 days a week, and I'm making a lot more money and feeling good doing it. So it does work.
I love it. So you get somebody who's in the midst of their grind. They're just trying to close the sales for the month. They're doing whatever they're going to do. And you say you go to the labs.
Yeah.
What's the first thing they have to do? How do they find the labs? Where do they go? What do you engage? And I'm sure you've got some idea to tell somebody what you could probably do.
The very first thing you do is epigenetics. You want to see what precursors you have coming into that are in your body already. So my paternal grandmother passed of Alzheimer's. We know Alzheimer's is an all-time high. It's because there's a lot more chemicals in the things that we're consuming or breathing or just being. We're just getting it.
Yeah.
But if you know you have that genetic, you can do something to help. So I tested positive for the Alzheimer's gene. So I take a brain stack every day.
Okay.
I always took a brain stack. As an entrepreneur, you should. Your brain is how you make your money.
I take ginkgo every day.
I take this massive stack. So I added to the stack when I found out what was going on. And it's a commitment. And here's what I found. Most people aren't committed to taking the supplements, natural supplements to fuel your body to feel better for longevity. And I'm doing this for what's going to come 20, 30 years down the road, not what's going to come tomorrow. And I know I'm playing the long game, both in business and my health, because do I have it on today? I do. Do I have 120 on? So I'm part of a group of entrepreneurs, and it's called the 120 Life. We're all striving to live to be 120.
Wow.
And we're doing all the things to optimize not only our business, but our health. Our health comes first. So epigenetics is where it starts. And there was a lot of other things. My dad was diabetic, so it's like you could become diabetic. So, I wear a continuous glucose monitor. Do I need to? No. Do I want to? Yes, because it's telling me my eating habits. And little things can shift how you're stacking your health. And so to me, that's important. I always say building a business is laying a brick, and I'm looking at your brick wall behind you. It's one brick upon the other.
Yeah.
And it's the same with our health. And if we wait till it's too late, it's too late.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going this week. My father, who's 89, 49 years in there. Yes, 100%. 49 years in the U.S. Army. and he's retired, of course. But I'm flying my daughter from San Francisco up where she's in college at University of San Francisco. My other daughter who's in Florida from Florida Tech. And then my wife and I and our other daughter, Mackenzie, we're going to take our plane and we're going to fly in. So we're going to meet the day after tomorrow when we're recording this and shooting this one to go to my dad's house because he is 89. He's got prostate cancer. And so, you know, people always say, if you get prostate cancer, you'll die of something else before it comes around because it's a very slow one, which is great. He's had it for 10 years. But I want my girls to see Grandpa while Grandpa is still engaged. And so we're going to go out there and come up to it. So your methodology, your idea is beautiful because it's not that we don't, you know, we don't plan to fail, you know, we fail to plan. And so your idea of saying, listen, we're going to focus on making sure we have done what we need to do today so that we could sow the seeds to live a life that most people won't be able to do down the road and tomorrow.
Yep, absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
I love it. So how do you make this? One of the things you said to us is, you know, Jason, making money is good. Money solves the problems. Money works. And so as an entrepreneur, as a woman who has seen these stories, seen these moments in time and said, here's how I make sure that I'm here until tomorrow. Here's how I'm here to make sure I'm here for the long haul. It's funny. I say, what will you do with the time you have left? So I'm a pilot for 20 years and I love flying airplanes. It's my passion. You know, I get in the airplane.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. There's nothing more exciting than to get in the airplane. I want to get in the airplane every single day.
Oh my gosh.
I was coming here today and I said, you know what? I want to go by the hangar and look at the airplane just to tweak on something because it's just where I want to go. But many, many, many years ago, I remember we were in an airplane accident. And it wasn't something that we caused. It wasn't engine problems. It wasn't any of that one. It was a training flight over 20 years ago. And my instructor was giving us instructions that we had to do because we kind of follow what the instructor said. And he was just kind of spacing out and reading the wrong, back in those days, they were called AFDs, an airport facility directory. He was reading the wrong airport details and giving me the information like a navigator. And so I'm following him. Anyway, long story short, we're going to the Death Valley and we land the airplane and he says, don't hit your brakes. It's your airplane. Don't do this one. So I listened to him because he says, you got all this runway room. So I'm following the rules. Truth of the matter is, my headlight, it was a night flight, my wife's in the back and she's pregnant with one of our children. And we end up slamming on the brakes because I see the reflectors at the end of the runway and we go off the edge of the runway and the airplane crashes and we all jump out the aircraft and the instructor says to me, that's not 5,000 feet. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. Anyway, he was looking at the wrong airport, paying attention incorrectly, and we ended up having an accident as a result of it. Now, everyone was safe. No one got hurt. The airplane had a $35,000 prop strike tear down, had to rebuild the engine. We were down for 6 months. It was a nightmare. But the truth of the matter is, regardless of the circumstances that came to it, I got myself to one of those places where it says, what will you do with the time you have left? And when I started the winery, I go into a training program for my staff to teach them how to do what we call platinum training. And in there, I tell them the reason I decided to go into the wine business was to teach people how important it is to understand what they might do with the time you have left. And how do you create an experience in your life that you can make sure everything matters. I literally went left in that time and decided to myself, I want to find what I do for the rest of my life. And for that moment, I said, I always loved wine. I loved wine tasting, building friendships. And so that was, many years ago when I opened the winery and I got in that world. When I hear your story, you tell me, focus on your health and do these sort of things. My dad, 49 years in the Army, he was in Vietnam and came up, and I was born without fingers in my left hand and have a degenerative bone disease from Agent Orange because of Vietnam in that world. So you name it, we've all got our little challenges and our difficulties. But I always come to the mindset of what will I do with the time that I have left? It's kind of the story of the Dead Poet Society, one of my favorite movies in my world. I love that movie. And it's, Captain, my captain. You stand up and what will you do with the time you have left? And so you've made a life out of understanding tragedy, understanding loss, difficulty, challenges. And you realize that the health that you have is nothing you can make better. You can't replenish it. You have to start with what you have. And you've made a decision that health has got to become not only the focus, but did it also become your vocation? Did it also become your monetization model? How did health and your decision tree on what you're going to do with the time you have left become your mantra for what tomorrow looks like?
So, going back to a God moment I had, this is all new. I celebrated 15 years last April, and
Congratulations.
thank you. Being a solo entrepreneur as a minority woman,
Yeah.
to make it to that, I was dancing on tables. I was probably drinking a little bit of wine too, and I just got to the point where my business models worked. It's made me a lot of money.
Yeah.
I've been able to live vital between Newport Beach and New York City.
Okay.
Two, in my opinion, two of the best cities, but two of the most expensive cities. And I'm like, I'm a single woman. I'm like, am I crazy? And I felt like my soul was really at ease in Newport. So I'm like, I'm just going to linger here for a while. So I listened. I go quiet. I go into white space. I'm not a big meditator. I used to be, but I just like sit in silence, and I know how to power down my brain. I've done a lot of subconscious and unconscious healing. This is a whole different modality that I'm like in love with, because it really helps you silence your brain so that you can dream really big again. And so I've done this work. So I was having this moment, 15 years. I'm like, what comes next? Do I stay on this trajectory? This is a big year. I'm going to turn 55. And to me, the energy had shifted, not only for entrepreneurs, but in the online space. And I said, I don't want to not be relevant as things are going fast. I mean, we're talking AI, we're talking like all of this stuff happening.
Sure.
And so I'm like, it's time for something, but I don't want to go with the trend. So I had my silent time, and God drops three things in my lap, unannounced. My sister calls me, and she has a diagnosis of cancer, and it's spreading pretty fast. That was number one. And so I sat and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this information? I have all this information, all I've been doing for health, and I have this beautiful team around me, but how am I going to turn this into something, into my business to monetize?
Of course.
So I'm like, that's not it. So then one of my dearest friends who I met, I think I had shared, I was in Brendan Bouchard's mastermind.
Yes.
And so we met, we were in that for a few years, and you bond with certain people, and she was my soul sister, and we happened to share the same birth date. And I'm like, so she called me, I called her soul sister, she called me star sister.
All right.
And we just bonded, and we planned a trip for our birthday just a couple weeks ago to go to Morocco together. And so everything happened. This was end of April. She passed away on April 29th. Turbo cancer, 10 days from diagnosis to death. And then the last one, I believe I get signs in threes. And the last one was, I hadn't been feeling good for about a year. And I just thought, okay, my labs show good, everything's showing good, but I had these weird symptoms. And something told my gut to test for mold where I was living. And I had the worst mold hidden in my HVAC. And so all of my upper respiratory symptoms were caused by that. So as soon as I got somebody to come in, it's an environmentalist that comes in and does the testing, and he goes, I recommend you move today. And keep in mind, I'm renting here because I live in New York. And I packed up my little bit of stuff and my animals, and he goes, oh no, you can't take anything. Everything's contaminated. So I check into a hotel. I go run to Target and pick up some essentials.
Oh my God.
I get all my animals bathed.
Oh my God.
Check into a hotel. I'm in the hotel for almost 3 weeks. And during this quiet time in the hotel, I realize, here's your answer. My sister's diagnosis, my dear friend Suzanne's passing suddenly, and my mold. And I'm a visionary, so I brainstormed, I mind mapped out this whole chart. And I started to survey all of my clients. So I have 2 businesses. I have the Done For You branding agency, and I have a mastermind for those that can't afford me. They come into my mastermind, I teach. And so every week they're with me all day on Thursday, and I teach. And so I surveyed everybody. What are your pain points? Why aren't you growing? This isn't about leads, or I don't have money to run ads, or my book isn't selling. Or what is it? Everybody had a health ailment or a loved one they were taking care of with a health ailment. It came back to health. And so I said, that's it. So I decided to run a beta, and I just came off of a 3-4 day retreat, a health retreat, where I brought in entrepreneurs, and I tested all of my new found information the last 5.5, 6 years. And everybody left there renewed, doing things for their health.
Wow.
To become better entrepreneurs,
Wow.
better parents, spouses, family.
That's beautiful.
And so I now am weaving health and entrepreneurship in together naturally.
I love it.
And that's how the monetization is coming.
Wow.
And then I am the conduit, my business partner and I we're the conduit to healing.
Yeah.
And then we have our team that we can refer to for the actual physicians or prescriptions or labs. But we are the ones educating them and then handing them off, because let's face it, doctors usually aren't going to go that deep with, okay, tell me what's really going on. They want to get straight to the, let's test you and see. And we're finding out, okay, you go with this doctor, you go with this doctor.
Yeah.
And we've gone all in on health and healing, because without that, we suffer.
Yeah.
We suffer. Yeah.
So listen, I'm hearing your story. I'm hearing what you've put together and you've engaged it. How does somebody get involved? How does this beautiful, amazing woman who has a mind, a desire to create something fantastic, and he decides that he wants to put his health priority and find a path forward for himself. And here he is, or she is, listening to you and hearing where you're at. How does someone step in? How do they hear you? How do they get involved with what you do? How do you make sure that they benefit?
So our new platform is being built at the moment, but we still have our original. So, social media is the easiest way to reach out. I have a team answering to direct them directly to me. And then I actually get on a phone call with them. Really? To say, let's figure out what's going on. That's how important the health portion of entrepreneurship is to me.
I love it.
When your health is dysregulated and you're not monitoring, I compare it to your KPIs, your key performance indicators. Yeah. We monitor our metrics all day in business. What's your podcast? How many people are listening? Your course, your website. If you're not doing that on your health side, how do you know what's going on? Yeah. I do side-by-side health KPIs. And I just shared this at the retreat and people like, you are an extremist. And I'm like, but it tells me, and I say this to my sister, had I been monitoring all of her lab work, I would have caught between 2018 and 2020 is when the cancer started to grow. And we could have stopped it then. But I didn't find out about it until 2025. Yeah. So there was 5 years of fast growth and things that happened. And I'm like, if we know how to monitor your KPIs in your body, optimization, then we can get you in check. Wow. Knowledge is power.
It is, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. So you said you wrote a book. Is that book still available to the world?
I took it down recently because it had a lot of, I believe in energy. I believe in God. I believe in energy. And it had a lot of past energy that I've healed from. And so I decided just to take it off the market.
But you're writing a new one.
I have 2 in the works right now.
I thought so.
Yeah, there's 2 in the works.
You have to. If you don't, I'm going to just go back to bed and watch Oprah. This is not the idea.
I'm going to copy you. I'm going to release both at the same time.
That's what I did.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. Yeah. I think why not? So, and then the new podcast is coming out very soon because I did delete the old podcast too. Okay. It was just, once I listened to it again and I realized I healed, I'm like, I don't want this out in the world. I want to remove it. And it's a whole new, the next version of Monica. This is like 4.0 at this point.
Wow. Monica 4.0. That's a movie. That's a movie.
It is.
Monica 4.0.
Hopefully.
So, all right, listen, I want to know, what's the one thing you would tell somebody who is you? What would you say to your younger self? Let's go back to a person in their 20s and 30s and ask yourself, what would you say to them to make sure that they are living their best life where they're supposed to be going?
It's simple. It's don't give up on yourself. It's believe whatever that dream is that you have and you must pursue it. You don't know if you don't pursue and you don't want regrets. And seeing so many people that I've lost that I've loved, I've seen a lot of regrets. And I know I've been on many deathbeds with loved ones, and never my wildest dreams did I think I would be the person sitting as they took their last breath. And as we're going through the motions, and now I know that I'm not going to let any dream in my heart. I'm going to do my best to pull it out and live the big life that I want. I'm not saying a big monetary and the houses and all that. My dream is very different. Yeah. So the long-term vision is pretty massive.
These health seminars you do for entrepreneurs and individuals, are you doing more?
I am. I'm doing them every quarter, actually. Okay. I just booked them in for every quarter because you can't get that message out.
Yeah.
to constant, because people forget once they leave, right?
Got it.
I think only a small percentage implement what they learn. So I want to keep it in front of them.
So I want to make sure that everyone who's listening to this episode has the details. So under the podcast, if you don't mind, put your socials, your details, so they can reach out and make sure they follow you. Because if they don't, they'll miss out on these great opportunities to change the course of their life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Monica, you rock.
Thank you.
So to the wine first.
To the wine.
And more importantly,
cheers
to you.
Thank you.
Oh my
Thank
goodness
you for
gracious.
having me. It's amazing.
Thank you for coming to hang out.
That is really good.
Hey, yummy.
And being a health conscious, my doctor gives me a list, and yours needs to be on it, of what wines are best to drink. Yeah. And so this is really delicious.
Only wine. We don't add anything artificial. There's no chemicals that we added into it. It's all natural. We don't add things that would actually enhance the color and change the wines. We take our time. A lot of times you take a wine that's distributed that you can get at a store. That wine, you have to add certain things to it to make it available to drink today. Yeah. But time will give the same thing without adding to it. Yeah. So for the past 10 years, you're making this wine. We don't add anything to it. And we're the only winery in the state of California that recycles every single drop of water. So when water comes in, and it's illegal to put the waste from a wine into the drain. Yeah. So when we're hosing down barrels, doing our work for harvest, whatever, all the stuff goes down into a drain. It diverts that to a tunnel we built into a 900-gallon tank, and out of that tank into a water evaporation machine. Wow! And the entire harvest for an entire season goes entirely into a trash bag, and that's it. And so all the water's evaporated. It's already done right. We make sure it's all good. So there's no chemicals added. There's no added sulfates. There's nothing. It is clean.
I can taste it.
Yeah, you can.
Taste it. Yeah.
You won't. I tell you, you have a bottle of wine that we make. I can promise you one thing. You might have a buzz. You might get a little drunk. Merry Christmas. But you're not going to have that chemical hangover. Yeah. And if you take a bottle of wine, that are many wineries out there today that are heavily distributed, because they have to get to market a certain time. They have to get the programming gear. Yeah. We changed that idea. That's how I got in the wine business. I want to make a wine that doesn't get me all stupid when I want to get stupid.
I love it. Yeah. I love everything that is clean, and I could taste it. And I was like, oh, I like this.
Yes, that's good.
This is a great breakfast wine.
It is. We do breakfast wine. We do lunch wine because we drink and we know things. Yes. I become smarter when I drink wine.
I agree.
I'm
Me
just
too. Me too.
My friend, cheers to you.
Oh my gosh. Cheers to you. Thank you, Jason. Very much. You're amazing.
Monica, you're the best thing since pockets and sliced bread. And I can tell you, if you want to get to know Monica, she's my friend. And I can promise you one truth. If you're in one of those places where you're that gentleman or that amazing woman who just needs someone to just show you a path, open up a door, and help you realize that you have everything you need, the way you were born, who you are, and where you're going, to make tomorrow the very best it could be. This is your chance. This is your time, because you matter. You matter to God. You matter to those around you. And even though you may not believe it sometimes, I can promise you, with God as my judge, when you meet people like Monica, when you meet people who actually give back and help, you realize that tomorrow the sun will rise and you'll be right there with it, and making sure that your health, your life, the force that's important to you for where you want to go, the choices you make, they matter. And I am proud to tell you that Monica Kline has got her thumb on the pulse of what matters. It's called longevity. It's called focus on the mission of the moment of your life. And that's a friend that I would recommend you going to. My friend, I am Jason McClain, and this is Crush and Climb. And Monica, let me raise my glass, because you are the best thing since pockets and sliced bread. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining entrepreneur, author, speaker, and winery owner, Jason McClain, on the Crush and Climb podcast. Here, we hammer raw experience into wisdom, helping you not just bounce back, but bounce forward with new strength. To continue the journey and build a life that's not just successful, but significant, subscribe to Crush and Climb wherever you get your podcasts. Let's raise a glass to the journey.